Then we run to it
Yep,
again.
that's exactly what it is. Right, yeah. So like, some of the stuff like we saw that COVID stock, it was like falling on its nose. And now slowly today it's coming back up. Anybody knows why it's happening?
That is the reason I joined this call, Mushi, for updates from you.
I want to know that if anybody is
Well,
doing their homework.
and just because COVID cases are going up, I guess that's the
Yes,
only reason.
it
So,
common sense. COVID cases going up, and the state of Michigan already announced. The governor of Michigan announced starting next week they are doing their all education is from home till January sometime. So you already see that till January what's going to happen if the number does not go down. It's going to be, it's no matter what happens, those stock, especially work from home or COVID stock, is not going to turn around. And it's good news that we have vaccine, but soon when we get the details about the data, that Pfizer release the data that how's the testing result coming in, or what type of people are going to get, and when all the details come out, you cannot just drop it all the COVID by the stock. Zoom, Peloton, and what else you are looking at, right? It's not going to happen. So that's why it's slowly coming back up.
And also, Musi, the stimulus package is also Trump government is going back and leaving on the Congress.
Okay.
That might be.
So I do that one. I did not know stimulus package is going to really how much while Trump is here, how much is going to get out of Congress, and because that's the one many times they are going back and forth with the Democrat and Republican. They want bigger number. Republicans say no, you gotta come in the middle. That's too much, right? So that number is not sure how realistic it's going to be till they say, okay, we're going to have a wait till next president coming, Biden. But that's a good conversation to have. But they do need to come up with a stimulus package so people can survive during this holiday.
Just I got the news alert that Trump administration is stepping back from the stimulus package and leaving on the Congress.
Mm-hmm. Anybody is getting that message?
In what message?
Bajwa, can you share that again?
Yeah, so just I can read directly. Hold on.
I mean, it is probably definitely going to come, like some form of it or the other will definitely come. But as Mushi was saying, I mean, will it be 500? Will it be 1 trillion? Like nobody knows.
This is from Bloomberg, 41 minutes ago.
Are you guys following the NEO? Anybody?
Yes, I am, and I'm happy.
Man, I cannot believe NEO is on fire. NEO is new Tesla.
Yeah, I'm regretting that why I took the 25% profit at 45. I shouldn't have.
Yeah, I have good amount of NEO sitting there. I'm just looking.
well, I think
it was
apart from
dipping yesterday. I buy yesterday NEO touched 39. If anybody. So these are the things we do. Like whenever earlier Niru, you sort of said the bus, you miss the boat. You don't miss the boat. You just wait for the next stop to come. So yesterday NEO touched 39. I ended up adding more NEO.
Okay.
So yeah,
I guess there's another baby which is just got born, Fisker. That's another one which is soaring high.
Yeah.
In EV space. Fisker, FSR.
FSR. All right, post it in the chat room, and then maybe we'll have Aziz. Are you doing the today technical
Yeah,
analysis?
Aziz is doing it.
Okay. And Raman, that in I know that in today also you're going to be the host again. Agreed?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. Floor is yours, guys. And quickly that disclaimer. Let me just get the disclaimer out of the way. But I'm glad if anybody has taken Neo and that's not like getting scared. What happens to the market? It will happen. Market is going to be its own mind, but we just look for opportunities.
So Mushi, what do you recommend? Is it good time to add Neo or should wait a
No, no,
pullback?
no, no. Wait for pullback. Neo is going to have Neo is going to and everything. What goes up is going to go come down, and you never want to get it. And oh my God, I missed it. Neo is going to turn around. You see my desktop, please make sure that you read this disclaimer, you understand everything we are sharing for educational purpose only, and you do your own due diligence before you go ahead doing make your investment. So now that that's gone, and the other thing I want to share quickly with you guys, let's see here, look at see the market, what's happening on all the market indices. It's not too exciting, pretty much red. Apple in the morning it did pretty good. It came back up and then it is pulled back. Apple, Intel, all the technologies today is kind of lagging. Nasdaq, only Zoom is like it's trying to come back up. Before the market, Zoom was 438. Now it just slowly is still trying to stay up. And because of the news that you're another shutdown happening, Zoom and Peloton, those COVID stock is slowly coming back up. Russell 2000 is there. SP, not really. Market here, you can look at it. The market doesn't have really good direction. Okay. That I wanted to just show you guys. You look for the opportunity whenever you're looking. You like something like banking. That 2 days ago banking was really doing well. Today it pulled back. So if you have any favorite banking stock, days like this, you buy when it's red and you keep paying attention. But today, like if somebody is looking at a chart, let's say Neo, whatever. Neo is like, look at the chart. It's like I have a bunch of charts doing like Neo is like it's keep going higher and higher. You do not want a 48 and where is let me see on my other screens. Where is my others? Okay, here, just give me a second. The other thing I want to show you guys that smart money, where is smart money going in, and what do we see with the pay tools. You see my screen now, right?
Yep.
You see that, and the Apple, pretty much here is you see that purple tells you all the big retail, the bankers, hedge funds, what they're doing, they're dumping Apple. Meanwhile, Apple is going up. So that kind of tells, okay, if these guys are big guys are dumping, Apple might be going down more. Tesla, pretty much both of them, they're dumping, both of them is like Tesla is going down. Baba is like slow. Baba is still, these guys are putting money in, bankers here, while retailers prices is coming back up. So Baba it has a chance, and Neo, look at that, Neo and both of them is going up in parallel. Retail and bankers both price, everything going up. So it's a good momentum now, but you don't want to jump in right now. I think we're going to see it. Aziz and the team is going to do the analysis, but let's see them quickly. What do I see in the technical chart on the Neo side? NEO in the short term. If I look at the day, of course, I know the daily chart is new. It's good. It's like uptrending. Oh, their earnings are coming up on 17. That's another thing to watch. I gotta watch out next week. Earnings coming in, but I guess before earnings is going to do as much as pump, and then I would not be surprised today touching 50 or tomorrow. Because NEO is on its way to touch 50. Listen. So NEO touch that area, but like I said, daily looks good, uptrending. 4-hour chart also looks good. It's keep going up. At some point, like yesterday, it came down. You see that 38, even it touched 37. You saw that. I mean, I saw 39, 39, but I guess it touched 37 yesterday. So it's time like this, you buy. You don't buy today when NEO is already over 48, and then what if it doesn't go? It doesn't go up, then you'll be losing money, and you do not want to be in that situation. Okay. 1 hour. That's what we say. No, we buy low, sell high. We do not want to buy high, and then get in trouble. But yeah, there. 1 hour chart looks good, uptrending. There's more room. 30 minutes. Short term, it is a NEO. It does look very good. Short term, long term. So, but I would just wait for pullback. Now it's not the time to get in NEO. Okay. Okay, Aziz.
Yeah.
You're here, right?
Yeah.
Floor is yours, and then after that, in the Raman, you can take over. You and Vic. And if any of you want to ask to analyze any stock, please share some context. Just don't say no. Netflix, NFLX. We want to know why. Do you have in Netflix that you have a option that you are losing a certain percent money, or you heard a news that will give us some context. Okay. Else you might say that our team is skipping that part. And before also as this goes, one more thing, I want to let everybody know that we have a free real estate class coming up. I do not know how many of you signed up that one. It's going to, we had a lot of good feedback from people. So this class is going to be about real estate. How do you get started with the real estate investment, or you want to find out what are the things involved. So so this class is going to be 4 weeks class. It's free first time. And of course, if anybody donate any money to our charity, it is great. But how do you sign up? You go urbanhood.org. In the middle, it already says, sign up. Make any donation and sign up, sign up for free real estate class. So this class is going to be starting next week, Monday, for 9 p.m. Eastern time. So it's 6 p.m. in the Pacific, starting next week, Monday, 4 weeks class, once a week. And there, what we are going to do, we are going to have multiple people teach about the real estate, what's involved to an agent and our wholesaler or flipping. And then also each time we're going to touch up some of those public market on the stock side, what type of stock out there. Okay. So, it's 4 weeks class to join. And then hopefully in future, it's not going to free after that. That's all I have shared. Now floor is yours.
All right. Mushi, you have to make me co-host. Hi guys. So like Mushi mentioned, this is for education purposes only. Just something that we see in the market. We're not responsible for any losses that you make. But with that being said, this is just the analysis of the S&P 500 index. This is the this is the S&P 500 futures. As you can see, for the past, this is a 1 hour chart. I want to just mention to everybody, this is a 1 hour chart. So this base analysis are based off of a little bit of over 1 hour. So that significant upturn on Monday we saw, and then we saw like a little bit of downturn, kind of came back to the Friday close, and then since then we've literally been chopping. And yesterday and today was just some mind-numbing chopping, which usually means that just premiums get burned. We usually don't make any money in this mind-numbing chop unless you find something like a Neo or something that's actually doing well for you. So things like that. So you ought to just keep in mind that be careful of this kind of chop over yesterday and into today morning as well. But these lines are already drawn. As you can see, as soon as it broke out, it kind of went down almost 10-15 points. So some money to be made on the downside. I expect it to maybe retest this 3511, this 3510 range. If it does do that, and if it picks up support around that range, it'll be a good opportunity to go up to 3540 and then 3577. Over that, I'm expecting a touch of 3,600. So these are some kind of levels that are already set up. It could by the end of the day kind of reach this 3511 range and then run up again, which is decent because you usually don't see this kind of a significant run, and then you always kind of want it to come down. And so in the overall scheme of things, this is a good thing. Some kind of pullback is always good, but it needs to pick up over here, because I think below that, then there's a lot of room for more downside. So watch out for 3510 on the downside, and then maybe a retrace of 3540 on the upside. This is in terms of just the S&P 500 index, nothing else over that. If anyone has anything that they want me to look, please put it in the chat site and I will look at it for you guys. I'm going to check out Moderna first, as it's been mentioned over there. Just give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I was just checking something really quickly. I'm going to check out Moderna first, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. And Moderna, it's been kind of volatile today because, I mean, of course there's that news, but every time you see news about Moderna, you feel like it runs up. Over yesterday and today it kind of ran up and then it kind of fizzles out. That's kind of been the way Moderna has been, but I think like it looks like it wants to pick up support around 84, which is an important area, and then it wants to run up to about 87 now. So it kind of went up there as of this morning, came back down, retested, kind of went up almost to 87, and now it's kind of in the middle because of the middle of the day. There's some volume that's being worked on, so you might want to keep that in mind, that middle of the day there might be less volume, but if it does close over the highs of about 87, 88 range, I think it has more room for upside. So keep an eye out for that. It looks like it wants to go up based off of the news that we are on right now. So it looks like it wants to go up. And it's showing some decent strength on a pullback as well. So keep an eye out for that. What else do we got? Yep. So Moderna is kind of anything else. If anyone wants to look at it, it does look good. Moderna. It does look like it wants to run up. It's showing some decent strength in this kind of a pullback right now. So
Aziz, can you check XPEV? V as Victor.
Oh wow. Yeah, I
so
think
guys, don't go crazy on this stock. Please watch this. This is another Neo from China, but this stock has much more higher growth than comparing China. Watch it.
Yep.
Go ahead. What do you see?
So I think that this $40 range was an important breakout, and it saw that broke out, and it kind of just kept going after that. I would not be interested in this to enter new positions in this unless it kind of retraces back around this 39.40 range. Ideally, even better entry would be around this 37. So maybe just watch it to come back around this range, and once you see it kind of picking up support around this 39 first or 37, and then you can just run it up for the next leg up. But I'd wait for some kind of cooling off, some pullback to occur at any time, like anytime soon, right? Or sort of.
It's up 28% today.
Right. So yeah. So it definitely it's very hot right now. So I wouldn't jump into it right now. But something to think about in the long term for
So
sure.
the reason now is trading based on the news. It came up in news this morning that they are going to have a more than 10,000 cars, released monthly basis in China, and that the demand is much higher. So because of that, it's just flying. Okay.
Right. So that makes sense that it's just kind of doing that on the basis of that. So surely something to think about, but just wait for a pullback. Don't get excited to buy it right away, because it's not a good idea to do that right now. So just keep an eye out. Yes, definitely, it's a good stock and everything, but wait for some pullback, because that can create you can become a situation where you're kind of chasing, and you don't want to do that. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see what else we got. GAXY NMDA. Guys, you have to tell me why you're looking at it, because Mushi wants that to happen, right? So just tell me why you're looking at GAXY or NMDA. So GAXY, are you sure that's the right Galaxy Net Generation? It's a penny stock. There's it's very hard to trade a penny stock on. I guess there is some volume, but it's less than a cent. I don't know. I can't do technical analysis on this stock. If it's a fundamentally good stock, yeah, for sure you can go ahead with it. But you can't do much technical analysis on this one, honestly. NMDA. Was it NMDA, guys? I don't know if sorry, NMDM. Okay. It's not even NMDM. NMDM. Yeah, it's not even NMDM. I'm gonna just stick to some of the basics. I'm gonna go to look at Nicola and then we'll look at Tesla and Square. Okay. Let's see that this 19.5 as of this morning was a decent range to jump in. Yeah, I think it will go up, but there's a lot of issues in terms of the stock fundamentally, because there's a lot of discussion about how this is not trading really, getting any new deals and stuff like that. So it's a little bit tricky on that front. But I think that with the EV buzz right now, I think that you can over 20, you can see 21. I think over 21 it has a lot of room, all the way up to about 22, and then the highs of about 24 is what I'm seeing over that. But this 19, maybe a retrace back to this 19 range would be a good entry for about 21, and then your stop loss could be around 18.5. But I agree that with this EV boom right now, this could do some good for sure. Let's look at something else. Square and Tesla. Okay, Square and Tesla. Square, I think because of the kind of the market's uncertainty right now, I think that's why it's kind of blowing hot and cold a little bit. But it had a pretty decent earnings once the market kind of settles down. I expect this one to run as well. I think that as of this morning, I feel like it kind of came close to this resistance from previously, has picked up over here and is trying to run up now. I think a retrace back to around this 176 is a good entry, in my opinion, towards the highs of about 181. And then you can see 187, and then over that there's a lot more room, I think, on top of that 194, and then the highs. So maybe a retrace back to 176 with the market kind of pulling back a little bit now towards the end of the day. Maybe you see it over here, and then that's a good entry point towards 181 and then 187. Let's look at Tesla really quickly. Tesla has been surprisingly quiet because of all the other EVs running, but I guess because it ran so much back in the day, there's like some consolidation happening and stuff like that. So I like Tesla when it probably hits at least 410. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. Or 407 is also a decent entry. Once it does that, I think that 420 and then 429 can be traded. But I'm just waiting for Tesla. Honestly, I'm going to show you guys an hourly chart that I'm waiting for Tesla soon. 4 hour. So this is kind of what I'm waiting for on Tesla. I'm waiting for a break of 465 because a break of 465 gives you 490 and then 538. I usually like to kind of not chase these kind of ranges, but as of right now, so that's what I'm looking for. A nice range break would be beautiful for something like a Tesla. And then 410, 407, and your risk off could be around this 400 mark over here for Tesla. As right now, I just wait and see the market. Like we said, it's just a little bit uncertain right now. Let's wait for it to settle down a little bit, and then we can maybe take it from there. So it's Square. I did an NDM. Okay, let's see. There you go. Again, it's a bit of a penny stock. It's tricky to do any kind of proper technical analysis on a penny stock usually. But let's see. This 320, 324 range is a decent range because you saw it picked up support some days back over here. Again, it kind of came back almost there and picked up support. It was resistance in the past. It broke out. So maybe a retrace back to this 320, 330 level could give you 377 first, and then it could give you 415. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Over that, you can see the highs of 461. Over 461, there's a lot of room. Again, it's similar to like I was showing it about Tesla, right? A nice range break from a few weeks back, and then and a few days back as well. So 320, 330, good entry point. First run up 377, 415, and then 461. Over that, a lot of room for NNDM. So let's see. RYCEF. RYCEF. It's another penny stock. It's, as you can see, the charts don't give you a clear indication of what you can do with penny stocks, but it looks like this was a resistance in the past. It's kind of come back, so it looks like a decent spot for entry. I think that it can go up to fill this gap at 140 next if it does pick up the support, but it's the penny stocks are usually news driven. The technical analysis can go out the window because of that. So if you think that this company is a good company fundamentally, and you think that it's a good stock for long-term hold, yes, definitely. But charts won't give you that kind of an idea. And this is mainly what I do is technical analysis over here. So penny stocks are tricky because they get news driven. They can be pumped and dumped very significantly because you don't need a lot of capital, and some retail traders can also pump and dump it. So I'd just be wary of that. So I don't know much about the fundamentals. If you think the fundamentals are good, great for it. Plug. I think Plug is doing a pre-earnings run-up. I think it had, or was it post-earnings? I think the earnings finished. So it looks like this $19 range was good, but I think as of right now, I think that 21, 90, 22 range is also good. I wouldn't chase this. I feel like it's kind of creating that little bit of a shooting star. So I just wait and see kind of how it probably retrace back to this 21, 90, 22 level. That would be a good entry for it again, I think, on the upside. So just hold off for it right now. It's already had a pretty decent from like a week back, a couple of weeks back. It's almost moved like $10, which is a pretty significant run. So I'd just wait for it to cool off a little bit, maybe bring it down to about 22, see if it supports there, and then run it up again. Let's see, CHKP. CHKP. Let's see what CHKP says. Ooh, nice looking chart, but it's kind of some resistance over here. It broke out, came back to retest. A good entry point would be this 115.7. I'd like to see if it picks up support around this range for another leg up, for about this 118, 119 range to be traded. Over that, you can see almost 122 as the next leg. But I'd want to maybe just wait for this kind of pullback to kind of see if you find support around this 115, 116 range. which it's done before a couple of days back, and it seems like an important support area, because you see over here also it's supported, and it kind of went down a little bit below, but it ran up again. So I think that it wants to pick up support around this range where it's at right now, this 115, 116. If it does pick up support, and if you see some candles moving on the upside, and if the market, like we saw a little bit of a pullback right now, when it starts supporting, the market starts supporting again, I think this is a good entry for CHKP. Let's look at NEO, and yes, I am sharing. I'm pretty sure everyone else can see that, right? You guys can see it, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So JMIA and NEO. JMIA. Nice. Yeah, these lines are already drawn, so I think that it's resisting 14.24. I just wait for another pullback around this 12-13 range. Just come back to this range. I think that's exactly what it resisted again. I think if it comes back to 13, you can run up to 14.24, and then over that for 15.7, and then 17.45. But it's probably like a kind of a lost opportunity that as of this morning, when it just ran up quite nicely. So maybe I'd wait for a pullback to about 13, 12.7, 13, and then run up for the next leg upwards. Look at NEO and CLSK. NEO is like Mushi mentioned, it's significantly overbought as of right now. I think that this 45 range seems like an important area that it resisted from back, and this broke out. So maybe a pullback towards this 45 range gives you a nice little uptrend. But as of right now, I would just wait. I wouldn't enter. Just wait for this little bit of a pullback, and then you can maybe run it up for the next leg. But like earnings are coming up. Market is right now very, very kind of slow moving market right now. Like I mentioned about the ES as well. So just hold off and see where the market's kind of settling, and that way you can make a decision on that. BLNK, CLSK. Okay. CLSK, let's see. This seems like right around here. It seems like it was resisting this area for some time, and then it broke out, came back to kind of retest, and is running up. So this 8.6, 8.7 is a good entry point for a first target of around 9.17. Or even 9.06 and 9.15, and then over that you can probably see 9.64 trade. But on the downside, I'd be if you enter on 8.7, I'd kind of keep my risk off at around 8.5. That's kind of what I'd do if I'm trading this stock. Let's look at BLNK. BLNK seems like it's resisting this $11 range again. So maybe a little bit of a pullback around this $10.2, $10 to 10.2, 10.5, and then maybe run it up to the next leg. So I just wait until this or if it breaks over this 11.2, 11.1 area, then that's a good news for the next leg up. But I think I just wait for a pullback with everything kind of pulling back. I just wait for a $10 kind of retrace and then run it up for the next leg. Earnings could be tricky. I'd be careful because the earnings, it's a $1.5 market move, so it's not significant. But make sure you kind of try to play both sides. If you're playing earnings, it could get tricky otherwise. So just as a heads up. Let's see. VRMF. Okay. Let's see. VRM is, so it's broken out of this support range. So I wouldn't be interested until 38 gets retraced again. So if it picks up support over 38, I can see it go up to about 42, which is the other high. So as of right now, it's broken an important level of support on the hourly. So it's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, it kind of went back up. So that's why I'm waiting for it would be ideal to either wait for a pullback to 36 to run up to 38, or a break above 38 to run up to 42. So that's kind of what I would see for VRM. Let's see what else. Ford looks like this is the point. It looks like it wants to break out of the support, this important range of support right now. You saw that it was resisting for some time, kind of picked up support over here. It's kind of coming back down. So I hopefully like it kind of comes back up above this 8.2, which would be a good entry to run it up to 8.6. But it looks like it's going downwards. So I think that if that's the case, then it might want to just go back down to some old supports, old resistances, which is 7.99. So that would be the range that I'd be interested to maybe average up if you're really interested, if you like the stock a lot. I'd average down over here, and but I think that it's an important level right now. So maybe towards the end of the day, it kind of retraces back above 8.2, which would be a good area to run it up to about 8.6. That's kind of what I'm seeing for Ford. Okay, G.
Are you displaying your screen?
Yes, I am. Everyone's able to see it, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. I think G is an 8.6 is a good area. It's quite close to that range, but you see how it kind of picks up support around this. Below that though, 8.03 is what I would see. But I think that 8.6 is a very good range for G. It looks like it's a decent amount of consolidation, similar to how ES looks right now. There's a decent amount of consolidation, and then maybe just to wait till pull back to about 8.6, that 8.6, 8.65 range, and then you could see first leg of about 9.2 and then 9.46. So that is what I'm seeing for the discussions. If there's anything else, please put in the chat line. Otherwise, we'll hand it back over to Mushi.
All right. Thank you so much, Aziz. It's always been very wonderful, the way you do the analysis. Excellent. I think we have one more coming in, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
someone
sure.
just posted.
That's fine. I'll take it.
PLTR, NEO, we already discussed in detail, so we can look at PLTR for sure.
PLTR, it has, I thought that, wasn't there some kind of news on this? I thought that there was some kind of news on this, so.
Yeah, so and they have earnings today, but also they are involved in distribution of COVID-19 vaccine.
Right. I think it was kind of sell the news kind of deal for them today. Honestly, it went down quite significantly, but I honestly believe that it's a very good spot right now. That you see how it was resisting before, resisting again over here. So I think that it could jump up now to first target of about $16, and then the highs of about 1706. So I would trade equity on this, because stocks could options could be a little bit tricky, but I think that it's at a good support. I feel like it wants to pick up support, so you maybe see some volume pick up over the end of the day. But again, you want to be careful around the earnings. So it's a $2 market move, which is pretty decent. I mean, and if it's at a pretty solid support, it could go back up to touch the $70 range. But playing the earnings is again, I always say it's very, very tricky. So you want to be careful with that. So I think that's kind of what I see. Did something else come up with the LTR? LI. Okay, I think I missed it. Okay, look at LI. Oh wow. Yeah, this is actually a very good run for LI. Oh, this morning it broke out of this important resistance area. It came back, went to fill the gap. It's already moving very, very well. It's actually picking up this. It's kind of breaking over this important other resistance as well. So close over this could mean that there's more room, and a lot of volume is being traded on it. A lot of volume, which is pretty good. So if it does close over this 30.5, I think that it has more room for more upside. So something definitely to think about. It does look like a solid start, but I would want it to be closing at least above 30.5 range. That's what I would want it to see for more room to the upside.
It has earnings due tomorrow before market.
Okay, so yeah, again, it gets a little tricky with earnings. It's a $5 market move, which is pretty big for a $30 stock. So if it does close over this, you could try it. You never know. There is a lot of room for more upside. And again, I think it's one of those with the EV craze right now. I think it's one of those other ones that's moving up pretty well. Like Neo, it's kind of marking Neo's run. So if it has a blowout earnings, it could go up to 35 at the end of the day as well. It does look like it wants to run up more. So you could probably trade it into till about 31, 32, or into the close of today as well. If you don't want to trade the earnings, it looks very, very strong right now. The amount of volume that's being traded is quite significant. So something you can think about for like a day trade, which put up to about 30, 31, 32 range. Quick lunch money on that. That's it. Thank you, guys. And Raman or Mushi, whoever you guys can take over from here, I guess.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Somebody said something. Okay. Looks like no. All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, Aziz. So guys, I think we have a good number of participants. I have a questions in general for everybody so that we all can participate. I was wondering, what do you guys think about increase in COVID cases, right? The second question I had is, what do you think about the elections? Okay, not going to political details, who's right, who's wrong, right? But what do you think how it's going to play out? I'm sure everybody is reading news, everybody is talking to their friends and families about it. And my third question is on stimulus package. Now, you may choose to answer all three of them in one go, or you may choose to answer just one of them. It's up to you guys. So anybody wants to take a first crack on it, and then we can take it from there. We just have like 13 minutes left. So I just thought probably, because all these 3 points, they actually are going to play out the next 2 to 4 weeks. So, we can probably use each other's knowledge and then see how then we can play the market. What do you guys think?
I could take a crack.
Excellent. Thank you.
So I'll start with the third one, which is the stimulus, because I'm not too optimistic that they'll necessarily anything will happen until after the inauguration, because McConnell's primary objective in life seems to be putting judges on the federal court. And I looked up the number of vacancies, and there's still enough that I think, and there's not that many days. If you actually look at how many days the Senate is in session between now and the next inauguration, it's probably about 30 or something, more or less. And there's more than 30 vacancies in the federal courts, and they've got a bunch that are pending. So I think that that's going to be his focus, and he sort of really controls the agenda in the Senate. Maybe there'll be something done. I don't know. We're not hearing anything. I don't think Trump cares at this point. It's not, but I'm not sure. We're just not hearing about it. So I'm not expecting it to happen, but I think as far as the market goes, there may be optimism that it'll happen, shortly after the inauguration. So I'm not sure if the market's going to be too concerned. The other question was about the election. What about it? I mean, about how it's going to get resolved, you mean?
Yeah, what do you think is going to be the outcome?
Well, I think there's a lot of noise that some Republicans are making because they're trying to stay loyal to Trump's base, to his voters, because they have ambitions to run for president or something else. So I don't get the sense that the Republican establishment as a whole really thinks that there's just too many races that Biden has won by too many votes for there to be any legal path, because There's just too many, and even recounts. They usually, even if you have a recount, they usually don't make up large discrepancies. So I think, and I don't see at least the Supreme Court has any appetite for doing anything radical. So I think that, you know, I don't think there's a lot of support for some kind of coup or something. But I do think, I don't know what Trump's going to do. Michael Cohen thinks like it's getting cold and he's going to go to Mar-a-Lago and golf, and then we may not see him again for a while. But he's making some shifts in the Department of Defense, things like that are making people nervous. So I wouldn't say that he won't do anything crazy. And I don't know how that might affect the market, but this conflicted election thing doesn't seem to be a thing right now. And then what was the third question, Raman?
It was around coronavirus. What do you think? I guess my question, let me rephrase the first one again, just to make more sense. I hear a lot, too many cases going up, right, on CNN specifically, right? But I have a feeling that doctors have learned a lot now. I mean, how which medicine works, which do not. It's still a serious issue. I'm not saying that, but I think there's a learning curve, and they know how to treat it. It's not the best treatment it's available, but we are not in the same situation as in April. That's what I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's truth to what you're saying, that the actual death rate, the percentage of people who die.
Yeah.
There's also people get like lung damage, they get heart damage that could affect them for the rest of their life, could shorten their life.
Right.
So I think they are getting smarter about how to use ventilators and which drugs, cocktail of drugs to try to use and when. But the number of cases is growing substantially. I think the biggest risk now, that from what I'm hearing, is actually that, and it's going to be worse now in the winter, and they're going to have regular flu probably, and we have no idea if it's going to be a big flu season or not a big flu season. So the number of cases really vary. I think the biggest problem is hospitals getting overloaded, and it's not just like whether they have enough hospital beds and ventilators, but you hear in some communities they don't feel like they have enough staff, like medical staff, nurses and doctors and stuff. So I think they could get pretty bad. This could be a really bad winter, like much worse than we've seen before in terms, but I don't know how that'll affect the overall stock market. That's a really, I find it hard to sort of correlate what I'm good at predicting happening. Sorry about my dog. Happening in the real world versus what the stock market, how it responds to it. I find that they're, almost the opposite sometimes. But I do think we're going to go for a very, very rough winter. But I also feel like if the Biden administration can get in there, they're bringing on a lot of experts, and they will try to tackle this in a much less chaotic way than the current administration has been. And so they've got some really, really good people that they're putting, onto teams and stuff. But the other thing that I worry about, the last thing I'll say, is I'm worried that sort of in the right-wing media sphere, that they've sort of poisoned the well so much about using masks and creating hysteria about vaccines and things like that. I'm kind of worried, whether or not people are going to whether they're actually going to sort of take the steps, the measures they should take to protect themselves and their families and communities. And it's interesting. I don't know if we're going to see in certain parts of the country, which are very Republican, that they have a worse situation because it's spread there now, and they may not, want to listen to scientific advice. And whether in urban areas like New York, and I live in DC, and I know Satish's in Atlanta, and in areas like that, they may take stronger measures. So anyhow, that's my thoughts, but I don't know how that will affect the stock market.
No, that's good. Good thoughts. Thanks for sharing, especially if it's coming from experienced person like you. Anybody else who wants to share their thoughts?
Raman, I have a few points to add to that.
Sure.
I live in Atlanta suburbs in Georgia. I'm sure you've heard of that state. It seems to be in the news every day these days for the two Senate seats that seem to be able to determine the fate of Democrats in the Senate. But anyway, uh, in terms of COVID-19, the first question that you had, I looked at a map today and looks like the whole center of the United States, barring a few states on the east and west fringes, to be in red. Um, Georgia is just a little pink, not green. What I see happening is a lot of this election-related activity, large rallies, protests, this and that. I think they added their thing to their contribution to the spread of COVID-19. Number two, I think there is siege fatigue, if I was to use that word. People are tired of sitting in their basements all day and not being able to venture out and this and that. So they are getting bolder. They're inviting friends over. They're going to their homes. They are, in a limited way, maybe going out to eat and things like that. There are some restaurants that have that. And I think that's going to happen. It has been what, almost like 10 months or so that we have been in this situation. What will happen is we'll probably see this surge will continue. In the background, all this vaccine and prevention efforts and things like that, they are going to happen. They'll probably add to this, and just like the stock market chart, there are bulls and bears fighting each other. I think that's the kind of battle that's going on. So you got people's desire to be out and about. There is the pharmaceutical companies coming up with new vaccines and medication and things like that. And there's government that's trying to pass laws and mandates at the federal level and state level to make sure they apply. The problem is states are states. They don't have to listen to the federal government. They have their own policy depending on their political leanings, right? So all that's going to happen. I think it'll probably take another 6 months before we see a downturn and this thing maybe starts to peter out like the Ebola or SARS or all those other things that we saw in the past. Coming to politics and the elections, what I see happening is a hung administration. It's, to me, from where I sit, it seems it's a very remote chance that Democrats will win the two Senate runoff elections in Georgia. Senate will probably continue to be in Republican hands. So we'll have a Democratic president, a Democratic House, but the Senate will still be Republican, and that will force compromise. So we probably, in terms of bills and laws that come out of there, we probably won't see a Democratic agenda or a Republican agenda. It'll probably be more of an American agenda, so to speak, where, on one side, we wish there's compassionate conservatism of the Reagan years. On the other side, there is, spend more, throw more money at this and make this go away from the Democrat side. Neither of them will succeed. In the end, what I see happening is maybe limited spend by the government on different kinds of packages and aid and support and stimulus, et cetera, happening. At the same time, they'll probably not come down heavily on state governments or asking state governments to really follow federal mandates and ban gatherings and this and that. So this will continue. The only saving grace here will be the medical science field. Stimulus-wise, I saw the first stimulus. It came and went. A lot of people, there were news items. I don't know if it was stereotyping or what. They prefer to stay home than go and work because they're getting more money from the government if they stayed home. But I think the next stimulus, whatever money people get, it'll probably go the same way. A lot of the money will probably go into, some sort of a slush fund because they don't know how long this thing is going to last. There'll be some other groups who will probably spend the money in debt reduction. I don't see that money going out into consumer spending. That chance seems remote. I'll get off my soapbox.
Thank you so much, Iqbal. That was a really, really good summarization of what you think. Thanks a lot. I mean, what I understood from you was, if you think the market will go back and forth within a channel, so be careful about your assets and your calls, which you're buying, because if it's in a channel, that's where the time will burn your money. So be careful about that. And this is just, based on what we are hearing from people, right? I think we all hear different news channels, we talk to different people. So, so the idea is to use this platform to share your opinion, what you think, So anybody else who wants to participate?
I want to say something. This is Cindy.
Sure.
One thing I've not heard too many people refer to is, even though our numbers are going up, there's a lot more testing going on than before. So maybe a lot of people were previously infected but just weren't aware that they were, because there was not the testing. Actually, and so for example, I go to a church here in White Plains, and we just last week our church had to shut down, and actually myself, I'm exposed and under quarantine right now. So my take is that people are, even though they are anxious about getting it, but it seems like we've got actually at least 10 people just in the last week tested positive in our church, but none of them seem to be severe, and they all seem to have like just common like cold symptoms, but nothing where no one's been hospitalized yet. So I'm just thinking maybe as we go into this next phase, I think someone had mentioned that even though the numbers are up and it sounds like, things are going more up and up, but I think it'll be more controlled, and that it'll be less severe, and people will be less panicked than before. And I think maybe, I don't know how this may affect the stock market. Maybe there's still going to be volatility, but I think people are more, they have more understanding of what's happening than before, whereas when we didn't have any statistics about anything. So
that's a very interesting point, Cindy, and I think that's where I wanted to go. Is the situation, at knowing that we are getting like thousands of cases every day, right? Is the situation bad that's going to create a panic, right? So getting cases versus panic are two different things. If the cases create panic in terms of deaths or people getting issues, right? Now that may eventually flow into the stock market, right? But if the panic rate is not that high, and if you have any doctors on the call, or somebody's spouse or somebody relatives are doctors, right? They might be hearing things, maybe a little more closely as compared to what we hear on news, right? So, maybe if somebody wants to share those ideas, the panic versus the actual cases going up, where do you think that needle is right now? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think from a investor standpoint, I think all roads lead to Georgia, and we just need to wait and watch, sort of from a policy point, from sort of a panic and sort of general health perspective. I mean, come on. I mean, we've been going through it since March. I understand. I think everybody, this is flu season, so people will be a little bit more aware. But I don't think it has gotten any worse than March. Than March, it's only maybe gotten a little better. But from an investor standpoint, I do think everything depends on Georgia, which we wouldn't know till January of next year.
Just from a policy perspective, you're saying, like whether they're going to get the Senate or not? I think that's what you're pointing to.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right. Got it. No, thanks. No, I agree with you. I think, as I said in the starting, right? I think doctors have learned a lot. People in general have learned a lot. So cases are much worse as compared to April. And I'll be honest, I don't think so. If I talk about myself, I think I was more careful in April than I am right now. So although I should be opposite, right? But I think you just get used to it. It's the environment which makes it different. So I agree with you. I don't think the COVID cases are not going to play a whole lot. But yes, it's going to affect the COVID related stocks for sure, like Peloton, Zoom, right? They all will start flying again, considering, the cases are going up. So, all right. Thanks a lot. I think that's a good discussion. Anybody else who has different thoughts or want to share?
I'll just share something that I know that virologists and doctors are saying about the vaccine results that were recently announced. And, they're saying, like, it was a small group of under 100 subjects that agreed to be exposed to the virus out of the phase 3 study that Pfizer and BioNTech are doing, 30,000 people. Less than 100 of them were exposed to the virus, and they're saying, well, it was 90% effective. But a couple of caveats that I'm hearing, from some experts, I'm not a doctor, but from doctors and virologists. One is it doesn't prevent infection, which means that if you're asymptomatic, you can still infect others. So it's not going to solve that problem. And they have no idea yet about the safety or the efficacy with populations that are at risk. Older people, people that might be in poor health. So they really don't know exactly how effective the vaccine will be. So I think there's a little bit, that's what the experts are saying, that people should step back a little bit, that this isn't like, we don't have a vaccine yet, that it's not, safe for most people, the whole general population, and effective. And they're just saying, they have some skepticism because the whole process is being rushed. And so the market might have gotten overly optimistic about it, about, how, about where we are with the vaccines, but we'll see. I personally think, I don't think we're going back to normal until 2022. My personal opinion.
Interesting. So Zoom is here to stay, huh? Good. All right. Excellent. Those are great thoughts. Thanks a lot, Mark. Anybody else who wants to add? Else we'll probably just close the call, unless Vikas, you have anything to share.
No, all great insights by everyone. Thanks, Raman. Thanks for hosting this. And I see we've exceeded the time also. So
Yeah, it's already 12:40. Right. All right. Great. Mushi is there. I'm not sure if he's there or not, but else he can close the call. I don't think so. So, all right. So thank you everyone for joining. So we'll talk to you on Monday, I guess, right? Oh, sorry, Sunday night, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Sunday night. Okay. All right.
Do we have a meeting tonight for the gold members?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.